and welcome back to the Anti-Book Club book club. We'll continue with book clubbing this year, but I wanted to take a moment to just show you the books that I got over the festive period. And a lot of other booktubers do the same thing. Now I'm gonna say right away, it's a small one, right? And I'll explain why. But yeah, let's just talk about it. So the first book I actually got in this festive period. Oh, by the way, yes, I am in my onesie. It's the 2nd of January. I am still in hibernation mode. You are lucky I even put makeup on for this, and I'm not wearing my hood. This is my Cookie Monster onesie. I have two. But anyways, still in hibernation mode. I hope you are too. But yes, so the first book I actually got was during our last day in the office with team. And you know how a lot of offices do Secret Santa? So my organization doesn't do that, and I'm quite happy because I never liked the concept of Secret Santa, because it's you have to pick a random person and then buy them a present for £5 or maybe £7, which most of the time you can't really get a good present, and most of the time you don't know that person, and plus there's the whole this is something that always struck me, was some people just plain cannot afford it, and then obviously there's the whole fact that a lot of people do not celebrate Christmas. So there's so many things that are a problem with Secret Santa. Organize your own. If you know you're a group of friends or something, organize your own Secret Santa. It's amazing. But I just always found the compulsory work one a bit strange. Anyways, so we didn't do that because we're a very inclusive organization. We're very aware that there's so many issues with it. What we did instead was, we have a culture working group, and they sorted it out, right? We asked everybody to bring in a book that they've read, that they want to gift to somebody else. The gift of knowledge. I love it. Loved it so much. As soon as I said that, I was like, oh my god, yes. And then they were put it into plain wrapping, and then we'll put in a post-it that will just give you 3 words about what the book is. And I was like, I know this concept. I have this concept on my bookshelf. Look. Ooh, it fell in. Right there. And as I found out later, I was part of an inspiration, because one of my friends who's in the culture working group, her and I are book friends. We're friends too, but we're we talk books all the time. Me, her, and another colleague, we are the Book Binge Club. And she actually came up with the idea, and I was like, ah, I know what you did. But I immediately also went, what do you mean I have to give up a book I like? My books are my children, right? I will protect them with my life. I have books that I first read when I was 13 years old. Actually, if you count the Harry Potters up there, 9 years old, probably. I don't remember. I do not give my, I'm a book hoarder. That's why I have these massive bookshelves of books. And she was like, yeah, when I suggested it, it sounded like a great idea, but I'm in the same boat as you. I don't want to give up a book I like. So, yeah. So I loved the idea, but also for me, who my books are my babies, I was like, what? What? Anyways, I did end up finding a book to give away, which was In Their Shoes by an author who I have now forgotten. This is so bad. I'm going to pause and come back. It's Jamie Windust. They wrote a book. I read it. I really liked it. I actually have me liking it and reviewing it, but haven't yet published it. Because I have a big backlog of videos. Because I did the typical thing. First of all, I'm a big procrastinator, but second of all, I started making videos when I first thought about doing the channel, but then kept going oh no, nobody's interested. Nah. But then eventually I just went, screw it, I'm doing it. If one person watches one video, I don't care. Anyways, and you should do that too. Anyways, so that's the book I chose to give away because I also think it's a great book to read, to like open your mind and like put yourself into other people's shoes, which I think is one of the best amazing things about books. So that's the book I gave. I also got a book, and I was one of the last people, right? So that sack was getting empty. And I was like, I'm sitting there. You know when you sit there and you're like, please be a book I actually want to, please be a book I actually want to read, please be a book I actually want to read. And I pulled out this book. Richard Osman, The Thursday Murder Club, which if you know anything, I think he's British, so I don't know how big he is in the US, but this book has been stalking me for years. Years, I mean it. And Richard Osman as an author has been stalking me as well, and I haven't yet read it. But I have been wanting to read it. In fact, I've been wanting to read it so much, it's already on my shelf. So I now have 2 copies of this book. So I probably will read it this year. So it was a book I wanted to read, but I already have it. Oh well. I will read it and review it and let you know what I think. Oh, let me just put this. I am 36 years old, right? So that was from a like book spot at work. And then obviously the actual holidays. So I very specifically said to my husband, don't get me books. Because I have a big TBR list with about 250 books on it. But I also, I'm going to sit in front of it. This whole shelf, whoop. Oh, now I have to write it again. That's all books I still have to read that I have not read yet. So I was like, it pains me, but don't get me books. Because I have all these books to read, including some amazing books like Black Butterflies by Priscilla Morris, Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu. I can't read it from the side. You know, I have 3 blind dates with a book on my shelf right now. The 5, which is about the 5 victims of Jack the Ripper, which I love, and I've had on my shelf for about 3 years now. So I was like, yeah, don't give me anything. Because I have a problem. I still buy books, even though I have this. So I was like, please don't add to it. However, you are allowed to buy me 1 book, which is this book. The Princess of Blood by Tom Lloyd. And the reason for that is that I read the first book of this series. It's the God Fragment series last year. Again, I have the video, it's just not uploaded yet. Really liked it. So it's like, I definitely want to read the second part of it, especially because I did the thing where you have the first chapter in the back of the book, so I'm already in it, right? So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna read this now. So there it is. Gonna read it probably this year. And I will also publish the book about Strange of Tempest. I always love the cover. Look at that monster, isn't that amazing? This actually reminds me a lot of some of the Dritz Duerden books that my husband has. So this is 1 book. So technically that should have been it. But on the 23rd of December, my husband's birthday, happy birthday, Michael, we went into London. We went to Forbidden Planet, which is a mega store in London, which is all filled with nerd stuff. Nerd heaven. And I'm a nerd. My husband is an even bigger nerd, right? So like the top level is all like toys and the little figurines and things. And then the bottom is like books and mangas and comics. And they have all sorts of comics. It's amazing. If you ever go to London and you're a nerd, go there. It's very full though. So if you deal with anxiety, like my husband, just like take a breath before you go in. So we were there and my husband was feeling really bad because his family had gotten me presents, but they weren't going to show up on time for Christmas. So he had all his presents. But like I had nothing from his family, so he felt really bad. And also my family got us a TV for Christmas, so I didn't have anything to unwrap from my family either. And he felt just really bad. He was like, oh, I want you to unwrap things. I feel bad. So he actually went before I did, because I had to go buy painkillers. He had already bought me a Stitch mug, which was very adorable, which I did not know when I entered Forbidden Planet and found him. And we then found ourselves in the sales section downstairs. If you've been there, you're like, oh yeah, I know where it is. I hadn't really consciously taken in the sales section. Because what I usually do is just like go around and I snap photos and like, on my TBR, on my TBR, on my TBR, on my TBR. Anyways. And I was like, oh. And it's filled with like art books and stuff, so definitely check it out. It's really cool. But then I spotted this book. Hex Life. It is 18 Tales of Witchcraft from the Mistresses of Magic. And I'm big into witchcraft, paganism, and like I'm really into you know, Wiccan stuff. Plus, I mean, look at this cover. It's an amazing cover. And the book, you can't tell because this is not touch TV yet. But it's got this like smooth, you might be able to see it if I do it like this. It's got this smooth, like rubbery, gummy, in German we would call it gummy, like type text. I love touching it. But it says, these are tales of witches, wickedness, evil, and cunning. Stories of disruption and subversion by today's women you should fear. These witches might be monstrous, or they might be heroes, depending on their own definitions. Even the kind hostess with the candy cottage thought of herself as the hero of her own story. After all, a woman's gotta eat. I was like, and it was £1. So I was like, Michael, I like this book. Maybe you want to buy it, maybe you don't. You know, I know we don't really have money, but I know you were saying about maybe wanting to get me something. And then I found this one. Dark Academia Library. Now I see a lot of booktubers reading Dark Academia. I haven't really read any Dark Academia because a lot of it is just a lot of teenage drama and angst, and I'm not big into that. It's filled with like romantic-y stuff, which I'm not really into. But I picked this up because I like the cover. And then read, where is it? What it was about. So the first book is A Lesson in Vengeance. After the death of her girlfriend, Felicity's only distraction is Alice Haley, a prodigy working on a novel about what drives a person to kill. I was already in it because it was a sapphic story, so I was like, ooh. Alice recruits her to help plot the perfect hypothetical murder for her book, which she swears will banish the guilt and ghosts of Felicity's past. Their attraction and intense commitment to Alice's plans grows, but not everyone will make it out alive. I was like, ooh. And then the second book is The Library of the Unwritten. Claire is head librarian of a space in hell where all the stories never finished by their authors reside. When a hero breaks out of his book and goes in search of his author, Claire must capture him, but what should have been a simple retrieval goes horrifyingly wrong. And then the last one is The Devil Makes Three. When Tess and Elliot stumble upon an ancient book hidden in a secret tunnel beneath their school library, they accidentally release a devil from his book-bound prison. Forced to work together, Tess and Elliot have to find a way to re-trap the devil before he kills everyone they know and love, including increasingly each other. So it's like, ugh, it's got romance in it, but it also sounds kind of interesting. So, and it was £3. I feel like one of those like home shopping channel people. This is £3. £3. Can you? Anyways, yeah. So it was like £3, 3 books, £1 a book. The books sound interesting, so I was like, Michael, I also like this. I'm gonna turn away and walk away now, and you can do whatever you want. And he obviously bought me both because he's like that. So yeah, I'm gonna be reading probably some of these books. And that's all. That's the whole of Christmas. Nothing else. But that was very much engineered by me, like I said, because I have a lot of books to read, and I definitely want to spend 2025 cracking a lot of that. Stay tuned for my book challenge for 2025.